What is up, MBL Network? It is episode number 13, and it's Friday. So it's Friday the 13th for the Commissioner's Corner podcast. That's right. It's going to get a little spooky in here. And this show's going to be, we're going to be talking 49ers. We're going to be talking the MBL live game between the Cardinals and 49ers come up, some quarterback controversy, and arguably the best halfback in MBL today and possibly MBL history. That's right. All 22 seasons, this guy might be the best halfback we've ever seen, and he might be testing free agency. So stay tuned to find out who that is and much, much more. All right, and we are back. Another exciting episode, and we always start our episodes off with a 2-minute drill with Lipp. Lipp, you were sick last time on episode number 12. Ooh. You feeling a little better now?
I'm feeling a lot better. We're ready to go, baby.
All right, so let's just jump right into this 2-minute drill. We actually have like an action-packed show, man. I mean, it's just full of a lot of really cool stuff and some great content and topics. We also have some great stuff hitting the channel this week. In the next 24 hours, we got 2 things about to hit the channel that you're definitely going to want to check out if you're an MBL Network fan. And we also have some giveaways coming up. It's going to be right after the MBL live game, which I'll touch on that just in a minute. But first, it's a 2-minute drill with Lipp, and this is how it works. He's got 5 questions. He's got 2 minutes to answer them. They're going to be rapid fire. And it's just going to be about some topics around the league. He doesn't know what these questions are, so we're going to be hitting them off the top of the head. Lipp, you know, your final chance to get out of this if you don't want to do it. But this is the 2-minute drill. Are you ready?
I am ready as I'll ever be.
All right, little excitement coming from Lipp today, also with a little bit of a robot voice. So we're mixing that in right now. He's feeling healthy. He's feeling good. All right, guys, it's week 8, halfway point of the MBL. Which 2 teams will be playing in the MBL Season 22 Super Bowl?
All right, so out of the NFC, I'm liking the Redskins. They're flying under the radar. People don't think they're playing that well, but I think they're going to get there on the AFC. I'm going to go with the Bengals. Their defense is actually not bad. 4th in passing defense, and the offense is good as usual. Redskins versus Bengals.
Thus far, who is the most impressive rookie in MBL Season 22? Position, team, and name, please.
This is going to go to the boy, Dillard Lloyd from the Baltimore Ravens. The dude is absolutely killing it. Taken in the 3rd round, 34 receptions, over 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. Dude's killing it. Going to be Rookie of the Year for sure.
Which team in the NFC West has been the most impressive in MBL Season 22?
Well, hey, right now we're looking at a little bit of a power shift. The Rams are falling down. The Seahawks are staying exactly where they are. And the Cardinals are on the rise. They're going to be on MBL Live in Week 12. This is a very hot team. I look for them to make the playoffs and go on a run.
The Houston Texans, owned by Doughboy, currently have a top 3 defensive team in the MBL. Are these numbers inflated because of the teams they've played thus far in a weak schedule? Or is this a real deal Holyfield defense in Houston?
This is not the real deal. The first half of their schedule here's a little weak. They're 4-2 in the back end. They're going to play the Falcons, the Panthers, the Steelers, the Bills, and the Titans. It's going to be tough, and I do not see it holding up.
You've got 15 seconds. What is the future of the New England Patriots in the AFC East? Show Unisolated some love, baby.
I'm always tough on unisolated. Wow.
Your time's running out.
3 or 4 wins this year. Going to draft a QB, and they will never lose the AFC East again. Book it.
All right, guys, that's a 2-minute drill. He barely finished up. And we got some exciting stuff coming up. I'm about to tell you what's going to be coming on upcoming for the MBL Network right now. We have Team Report number 13 loading up right now. That's right. Team Report hosted by Project Fat. They've been following the San Francisco 49ers, who've been arguably the worst team in the league right now. 0-7 Decadog, who won the most improved owner for last year. Big shout out to my wife walking up the stairs right now. So we got Team Report number 13 coming out. They're following the Niners. This is the first one. So Lipp, he's going to be following teams for an entire season and get you that real, that feel of being inside the locker room and dealing with the team's ups and downs. And man, the 49ers are on some downs right now. They're currently 0-7. Lipp, how do you feel about this Team Report change and just focusing primarily on one team for an entire season?
Hey, I absolutely love it, man. I've talked about a couple teams over the past, years that we've done this. The Texans, whenever Cuba had them, man, they started out maybe no wins, 1 or 2 wins, reaching up to the point where they get into the playoffs. I can see the same thing happening with Deck and the 49ers. So I love to see this process the whole way through. I love what Deck has done in the offseason and especially the draft over the past couple seasons. So to see this team grow, I'm ready.
Yeah, I think the Niners definitely have some growth. They were the most improved team last year, so they have the pieces in place. They just haven't been living up to the hype. So maybe these team reports that come out this season, will give us some insight on what's really going on in San Francisco. Expect some video from Decadog. That's right, he comes in live on the iPhone video. He's going to be talking about his team, doing some press conferences with Fat. So that's going to be up in the next maybe 4 to 5 hours. It's actually loading up right now. Also, tomorrow we have MBL Live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the standard time of the MBL. The 49ers 0-7 going into Arizona, taking on the Cardinals, who are atop their division at 4-2. A quick turnaround for the Arizona Cardinals this year. They're looking really good with Adrian Peterson at halfback. Man, this team's looking really strong, Lipp. I'm really loving these Arizona Cardinals tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern on the MBL Network channel. Now, guys, also, what I want to let you know, tomorrow, stay tuned to the @MBL Network on Twitter. We're going to be going live with Periscope at the very end of it. We'll have more details later tonight and tomorrow morning. We're going to be doing some giveaways after MBL Live giveaways. That's right after the show on MBL Live, the game, we're going to say go over to Periscope, put the hashtag in, whatever the MBL Network OSU decides it is, and you're going to be registered for a giveaway that we'll be having live on Periscope. And you have to go to our Periscope live feed and chat once the winner's picked. So if you win, you have to let him know, hey, that's me. I accept the award, the gift, which is going to be an MBL Network t-shirt most likely tomorrow. We have sizes extra large to large, and we'll be giving those away, the new ones. We also have new MBL Network t-shirts coming in probably the next couple of weeks, which are going to be really nice. I don't know if you've seen them yet, guys, but they have the King of the Franchise mode on the back. They're looking really sleek and clean.
Hey,
so
they're looking beautiful.
They're looking beautiful, and we got tons of assorted amount of colors. MBL, we're going to be giving out a lot of that. So we're going to be starting a new thing tomorrow, MBL Live, guys. And then after that, we're going to go Periscope on @MBL Network, and OSU is going to be doing some giveaways. So anytime that's announced, make sure you're following along in MBL Live so you can have an opportunity to win some of these awards. And now we're going to get to the show, the real deal show. So first, we got to we got to take care of our sponsors. That's web3ks.com. You're about to find out where Bomber gets some graphics from, I feel. So Gibbs, go ahead and roll that commercial. Are you looking for affordable graphic design? Well, the Madden Bomber League has you covered. Our sponsor at web3ks.com can do anything you want. They always go, Bomber, where'd you get those intros? Web3ks.com. Bomber, where'd you get them graphics? Web3ks.com. So you guys need to check it out. If you run a CFM, if you got a Twitter account, if you got a YouTube account, and you're looking for some nice, clean, affordable graphics, go to web3ks.com, and he will fulfill all your graphics needs. And we are back. Another shout out to our sponsor, web3ks.com. Best in the business at making graphics. Also, don't forget to check out Chino Graphics, man. They've been doing a lot of work for us lately as well. And big shout out to our guy CMF doing some in-house stuff for us, keeping us looking real clean. Shout out to Kyle, the newest member of the MBL. What team did he take over, Lipp? I kind of get confused when we talk about it so much. I think the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. And there's some big news there. I do believe he came in and promised a championship within the next few seasons. So that'll be exciting.
Championship aspirations with a young wide receiver, man. When you got Gabe Williamson, I mean, that guy, man, he's a bona fide stud and a superstar. So I really expect Kyle and these Titans to really take off. And I think that division's wide open, man. I like the Jaguars. They haven't been doing that much this season, but I think they're young. I think the Titans are young. I think the Texans are a young team. They got, they still have that quarterback issue that I really don't like. I'm not really sold on Connor Cook, and everybody knows about those Colts, man. They're about as inconsistent as they can get. They're almost like having Sprint as your cellular service. Inconsistency. All right, so we're going to move on to the show right now. Our first topic is Jawara Woodard. This guy, man, he was supposed to be the savior in San Francisco. Let me get over to my pick right here. Jawara Woodard currently this season has 6 touchdowns, 27 interceptions, 49% completion percentage, and his team as a starter this year, he is 0-7. This is a guy that was drafted the 11th pick overall in the NBL Season 20 rookie draft. He has been benched. Blaine Gabbert is going to be the starter, Lipp. What are your thoughts on this?
Look, I mean, I loved Woodard whenever he came out a couple years ago. He was a great quarterback. He still is. I just think that there's some issues with the offense as a whole. Big reason why I say this is because they can't score any points, and I think this is because they can't run the ball. Right now, they're 30th in rushing, and if we go back, this is a long problem. This has been around for a while. Last year, Carlos Hyde didn't even break 300 yards. They had another guy, Kenneth Virgil, just over 150 yards, but still both under 3 yards per carry. That is not going to get it done, especially with a young quarterback. Going into this year, they have another guy, Dillard Straughter, just over 3 yards per carry and just over 200 yards on the ground, 30th in rushing again. It's just not there's no help for any quarterback right now in San Francisco.
All right, and my question back to you is I want to point out the maturation of this guy. This is his third season in the league. He was drafted in NBL season 20, so he played season 2021. Now this is NBL season 22. Let me tell you his QBR. Rookie year, 59.9 QBR. Second year, which was NBL season 21, 60.7 QBR. Now NBL season 22, we're at the halfway point, as we mentioned earlier, 47.8. This is a big concern. There's mechanical issues with this guy. I don't think he lets his feet set. I don't think he has a great throwing motion. I think he feels rushed, and he's been pressured over the last 2.5 seasons. I think it's really got to him. This is a guy that came out of Notre Dame, 6'6", 225 pounds. That was, as I said earlier, was supposed to be the savior of the San Francisco franchise who so desperately needed a quarterback. They drafted him 11th overall. They got him. He fell to him, man. They felt very lucky to have him, and you just haven't seen him be able to capitalize. And you can't say it's the wide receiver core. It obviously starts with the rushing game and the offensive line when it comes to San Francisco. But moving forward, Blaine Gabbert is going to be the starter, and we have some video of Blaine Gabbert holding a press conference after the news is announced that he's going to be the starter.
We're going through a little rough patch here, and I've been through plenty of those in Jacksonville. And the biggest thing that we have to focus on is just sticking to our routine, sticking to our guns, going out and having great practices, and carrying over that practice to the game. That's the biggest thing that we're striving towards right now, because we're putting together great practices. We're preparing very well. Our coaches are doing a great job, giving us the right looks, but what we got to do is take that into the game, and lately we have not been doing that.
And that's Gabbert, man. Are we talking about practice? Blaine Gabbert continues to talk about practice and trusting the process. I don't think Blaine Gabbert's the answer, and I don't think he thinks he's the answer. I honestly think this is just an opportunity to save face for Woodard and have him come back next season or late in this season, try to redeem his career a little bit. Lipp, quick comments on the possible Blaine Gabbert success, because he is going to be the starting quarterback in MBL Live, our play-by-play broadcast, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. That's right, the Niners 0-7 take on the Cardinals 4-2, and the 49ers starting quarterback is now Blaine Gabbert, and has been officially announced as of last night.
Well, if you've ever woken up from a terrible nightmare, this is going to be an absolute nightmare that you're not going to be able to wake up from, because Blaine Gabbert is about to get the first start in however many games. He didn't play at all this year, probably didn't play much last year, if at all, and look what he's going to go up against. This Arizona Cardinals team is a completely different defense. They're ranked 5th in rushing. That's not even their best stat. They're the #1 pass defense right now. They're the #1 total defense, and they only allow 16 points a game. So it's going to be very tough for a guy to have his first start of the season to go up against this defense. It's going to be ugly if they try to do too much too soon. I want Deca and his 49ers to start small, go to the flat, take the easy stuff, take what the Cardinals are going to give them. You're not a passing team. You're not going to beat the #1 passing team by trying to go out there and throw the ball a whole lot. So just take the little bit of yards and try to stay in this game, because it's going to be a very, very difficult time throwing against this defense.
And this is doomsday scenario, as Lipp mentioned. I can't jump on the other side of this, but real quickly, you're asking when's the last time Blaine Gabbert started? NBL season 19, week 1. Denver at San Francisco, and you know what he threw for? 53.6 completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a QBR of 51. That was the last time we saw Blaine Gabbert as a starter. Fast forward about 2.5 seasons later, and here we are. He's going to be doing it again, this time on the big stage in NBL Live. So we wish Blaine Gabbert the most luck. Don't expect much from that. Expect a high pick from San Francisco. Do they go quarterback? Do they not? I don't know. We'll touch on that later. We spent enough time on the San Francisco 49ers, so time to move on to the show. Moving on to the show, we're going to be talking about a familiar talking point, at least it used to be. We're going to be talking about Trey McIntyre, the 4th pick in NBL Season 20 rookie draft, Heisman Award winner. He's under some new ownership now, new style of play. We're seeing Timbo come in and looking to do some big things with the Kansas City Chiefs, who are currently 2-5. TM3 is known as TM3 INT now. That's the big hashtag trending around the MBL social media. So, Lipp, what do we think about Trey McIntyre moving forward? Is this another one of those quarterbacks drafted early that we just don't have much faith in moving forward thus far?
Yeah, and the sad thing is, as much as I would like to say that this is all Trey McIntyre, just the whole team, top to bottom, both sides of the ball, do not have anything that you can say, let's build around this, or, we did this well. I'm not sure they're doing anything well right now, and this might just be a year, maybe even try to follow maybe the 49ers and, set Trey McIntyre on the back burner. Try to work on some small things maybe and just head into next season. Try to get another, big supporting role guy to help Trey McIntyre. But right now, I just don't see anything that can help this team out right now. And Trey McIntyre is looking like he's going further into the bust category each week that goes by.
Yeah, you look at Trey McIntyre, this team's 23rd in passing in NBL Season 22 right now. And it's not like Trey McIntyre was such a bad quarterback coming out as a rookie. And even his sophomore season wasn't much of a sophomore slump. So NBL Season 21, sophomore season for Trey McIntyre, we actually saw an improvement in his game. 24 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. QBR went from 81.5 as a rookie to 87.9, nearly 88. But now it's dropped back down to 59.7. So these are two guys that are hitting a third year just low. And this has really got to be a concern and an alarm for Timbo and those Kansas City Chiefs. As Trey McIntyre, 6'3", 227 pounds. He was drafted 4th in the same draft that Woodard came out in, where Woodard was taken 11th. And it was supposed to be such a QB-driven draft. And now I'm looking back and I'm thinking, man, there were a lot of busts in that draft, Lipp.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is something we're going to see more of, because you look at these two guys, they're supposed to be the saviors, they're supposed to be the guys, but it just doesn't pan out. I think that there's way too much pressure at the start of their careers. They don't ever get a chance to sit back, breathe, actually learn, and it just never... they never have a chance to breathe and catch up. If we look at Trey McIntyre this year, his first game against Indianapolis comes out 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Since then, he's only thrown 4 touchdowns and has not had a single game without an interception. And that is just horrible for your offense, horrible for your defense. And there's no way you can win games like that.
And I want to, since Timbo has taken over this team with new ownership, new regime, obviously it's going to take a little bit for this quarterback to get his feet wet. 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions. That is not a good sign. QBRs of 51, 89, and 28. The team is 1-2 under that ownership. This is not a good sign thus far, starting with Trey McIntyre. A team that obviously lacks depth at the wide receiver position, but they just seemed a lot better under previous ownership. So we're hoping Timbo can get that together and figure it out for the Kansas City team, and they can compete in that AFC West, because that is a tough division to compete in. Top to bottom, you got Porter with the Denver Broncos. You got Fat with the Oakland Raiders. Really some tough teams in that division. You also have Chunky coming along with those San Diego Chargers. Some teams definitely building right now. Now, we always thought Kansas City had a lot of potential, and it just seemed like it hasn't been able to work out for them thus far. Moving forward in the show right now, you guys are probably wondering, how do I join the NBL? Go to 365.maddenbomberleague.com. We have all your information. Now, if you're like, I don't know if I should join, I don't really know what this is really about. Well, here's the MBL promo right now, and this is for all those looking to join the MBL and see what it's about. And this is shout out to Heartless. He's our guy that does these videos for us, does a great job, tremendous job. One of the best producers in the NBL right now as far as production-wise. So Gibbs is going to roll this promo for us right now, and you're going to get a little insight on what the NBL is truly about. All right, guys, if you're watching the show right now in the chat, we see a lot of activity. Make sure you go ahead and click that like button on our show, on our channel, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Also, give us a follow on Twitter at Bomber League. And don't forget the MBL Network on Twitter at MBL Network. As I said, they're going to be having some Periscope giveaways coming up soon. You're going to be able to win t-shirts, decals, all kinds of things, man. Xbox Live memberships. So the whole ordeal. And now we're down to the main topic of this show. That's right. Ezekiel Elliott, potential MVP candidate, MBL Season 22. But his agent recently told the MBL Network he was looking at exploring other options in free agency. Now, the Cowboys are currently 6-2. They've been playing great. We actually have a video of Ezekiel Elliott about to talk about how great his team has been playing and how this team just busts people in the mouth. In the fourth quarter, they get tired of getting busted in their mouth, and that's when those big run plays break out. So let's roll that Ezekiel Elliott post-game video talking about how great it's been in Dallas and how awesome this offense has been looking.
That's how we play, you know what I mean? Teams are going to come out, they're going to try to stop the run, they're going to stack the box, but we're a physical group of guys. We talk about this all the time, and we wear guys down. I mean, it's a four-quarter game, it's a long game, and guys aren't trying to get hit in the mouth for that long.
And that was Ezekiel Elliott, and the guy doesn't play, man. He does not pull any punches, man. Very confident in Dallas. That's why I was kind of surprised to hear from his agent that he might not be returning to this Dallas Cowboys franchise, which would really hurt him as they lost Dez Bryant in MBL Season 21. He's over in Denver doing some big things with that team. Another star wide receiver, and shout out to A.J. Green over in Carolina, just recovering from a recent injury, but he was playing well as well. Back on topic, Ezekiel Elliott, 110 attempts this year, 662 yards, 7 touchdowns. MVP candidate for sure, no questions asked. But if they do lose this guy, if Dallas does, how much will losing Elliott affect this team's success? And I also want to ask you, Lipp, is he a player of the system, or is he just a system player? Is he someone that just plays into what the Cowboys have with the strong offensive line, or is he somebody that can just really create a system on his own? Is he his own standalone guy, can go to any team and he's going to have this kind of success? Or is, as everyone says, this Cowboys offensive line is just crazy, and anybody can pretty much run behind that. How much of a balance is it to his success, the offensive line, to actually how great this guy really is?
Well, the offensive line is great. There's no doubt about that. It might be the best. It's certainly top 3 or 2 in the league as far as entire offensive line go. I do think Zeke is very talented by himself, of course. You see he gets the ball. There's guys standing there in the hole, and he makes them miss, and he picks up the yards. But we looked into this and just to see how important Zeke actually is to the Dallas Cowboys. If you go back to 2017, which is as far back as our stats go, and you look at
MBL Season 20.
19.
No, 20. It's going to be 20. MBL Season 20 because Dad Leagues doesn't show 19 because that was the first year.
Okay.
But go ahead.
MBL Season 20. Whenever Ezekiel Elliott gets the ball over 14 times, they are 11-0 in 2017. Jump to 2018, they are 7-0 when he's over 14 attempts. And so far this season, 7-1 whenever he gets the ball that many times. And now whenever we look at yards, it's the same thing. In 2017, they were 10-0 whenever he had over 70 yards. And 7-0 in 2018 whenever he had 70 yards. 3-2 in 2017 when he was under 70 yards, and 3-6 in 2018 when he was under 70 yards. Now people say, okay, that might not mean anything because whenever you're up, you're running the ball more. But you look at these games, all of these games are very close, and it looks to me that Dallas just chose not to give him the ball sometimes. They thought, if we remember this, Dak, they gave the ball to Zeke a lot the first year. And then the second year they tried to develop Dak, and it just did not work out. So they were throwing the ball in situations that they shouldn't have been. If you look at these games, Zeke has 9 attempts, 11, 12. They win these games by 4 or 5 points, and 11 in one case. Dak has many interceptions too, three interceptions, and Zeke's not getting the ball. So when you give Zeke the ball, you get the production, you get the wins. Whenever you try to go away from him, it just does not work out for you. Zeke is so important to this team, and it's been proven over 3 years. I think they absolutely have to franchise tag this guy.
Well, while you're on your soliloquy about how great Ezekiel Elliott is, all I'm thinking is Emery Mobley right underneath him. Is he worth $12 million on a franchise tag at halfback? With that offensive line, Lipp, with that lack of wide receiver core, you're going to tell me that they have to keep this guy? I just can't see it being true, because my number one concern is you spend too much on Zeke Elliott, you never get any better in the wide receiver and passing game. When you're looking at the NFC, what do you think of? You think of a passing attack. You see the teams that are passing the ball this year, Cam Newton, Matt Stafford. You're seeing Atlanta Falcons with Blaine Gabbert. Obviously not Blake Bortles, excuse me. So you're seeing these teams that are high passing efficiency teams. You have to be able to maintain the points. What if the run game is not going? That's going to really, where it's really going to cause issues for them. I think they pass on Ezekiel Elliott. Franchise tagging him between 11 and 12 million, I think, is a complete overpay. I think their price range for a halfback should stay between 4 and 7. I think with that offensive line, that's good enough. They'll find somebody that's just as efficient, that can produce what Ezekiel Elliott is doing right now. I just really don't see the point of having to tag somebody at that position. When Lipp, let's look at their wide receivers. Cedric LaShore, 6th-round pick, nobody. Terrence Williams, back end of his career, man, he's on the decline. Deshaun Jackson, even further on the back end of his career. And Greg Olsen, he should be in a rocking chair, talking with his great-grandpa right now about how he used to play in the MBL. This is not a wide receiver in core that you can actually, have substantial offense from. It's going to struggle down the stretch. And who's their quarterback? A young, inexperienced Kevin Womack. You can't throw all your eggs in one basket. I think going after Ezekiel Elliott, it would be a huge mistake if the price is wrong. Now, if the price is right, you're 3rd in the league in rushing, stay with them by all means. But you're 28th in passing, and you're 16th in points in putting up points. This is not going to win you Super Bowls in the NBL.
I think this is an overreaction. I think that the price scares somebody that doesn't, that doesn't have that ability to run the ball like that. When you have that ability, I think it's such a good thing, because you're always in control.
But couldn't they do that with anybody? But do they need it to be him? Does it have to be him?
But with Zeke, it can be that way, because look, they're 6-2 right now, and you're worried about in the future whether they can put together an offense that can bring around the passing game. Look at Dillard Lloyd, 3rd-round pick, killing it right now for the Ravens. You look at another guy taken, Caleb Hayden for the Steelers, taken in the later end of the 1st round. You can find guys that can step up and be good wide receivers. You might not get the absolute star. You're not going to get Odell Beckham Jr. or AJ Green maybe, but you're going to find guys that can build around what they have right now. Solid O-line, solid halfback, good developing quarterback, get some young rookie wide receivers and a tight end, and it'll be absolutely terrifying to play these guys in a couple seasons.
There are 2 losses this year, New York Giants and Chicago Bears, both teams that do very well on defense, and they suffocated them passing-wise, and that's what hurt this team. If they can't move the ball passing, as much as they don't need to move the ball passing it, you still have to keep them respective. Let's go ahead and look at the game where the Cowboys play the Giants. Obviously, Ezekiel Elliott got hurt. So this might play into your perspective a little bit. They just stagnant on offense, only had 3 points, 9 carries, 40 yards for Emery Mobley, which still isn't really a bad game, about 4 yards per carry for him. But they couldn't move the ball passing because the New York Giants have such a great secondary. 14 for 23 for the rookie, 130 yards and an interception. My point is, if you have to spend that money on halfback and it's going to cause you not to have the money to spend at wide receiver, you're going to be in trouble in Dallas for the foreseeable future, and you're going to be a team that relies on ground and pound. But if anybody can put up any type of points on your defense, you're going to be in trouble, because you can't sit in the run, Lipp, when you're down 21 points.
I'm not sure we're going to see somebody that you can pay that money to. Anybody that's going to want that kind of money, is going to be on the back end of their career. They're going to be good. They're going to be solid. They probably made a mistake letting Des Bryant go, because that's right around what you're going to be able to get in free agency. I don't think there's any dominant number 1 studs coming out into free agency. Like I said, there will be guys like AJ Green that will move teams, but they're not going to be absolute studs anymore. So you don't think
Emery Mobley, you don't think Emery Mobley is a good enough halfback to fill that spot for a year or two, 25 years old?
He probably is, but then you're restarting with your run game. Right now you have Zeke in this offensive line, 3 solid years, just absolutely killing it, crushing teams in the run game, controlling the ball. Once the quarterback develops a little bit, you get some younger wide receivers, and they all start to gel. It'll be a very solid offense all the way through.
And before we leave this topic, I want to ask you one more question. You chose the Redskins-Bengals for the Super Bowl. That's a division opponent for the Cowboys. What stops the Cowboys from being over the top right now that made you choose the Redskins?
It is exactly that. They don't really have a number one wide receiver. Their quarterback's young, but right now they're where they need to be with a rookie quarterback. 6-2, second in the NFC. That's really good for a rookie quarterback. You can't say you expect much more than that from a rookie. So I think they're right on pace. This next draft, they go out and they get a wide receiver, maybe another one in free agency. I think that'll be a really solid team moving forward. And then you can start to talk, okay, then they'll kill the Redskins. Okay, then they'll go after the dominant teams in the NFC. And then they'll go to a Super Bowl. I think we're a little bit too soon on expecting them to be a Super Bowl team right now with such a young quarterback.
Definitely an interesting debate, and we're interested in hearing your thoughts as we're going to move on to the Crossfire segment of the show. And it was a good debate, man. I really enjoyed it, and I think that's the topic of discussion right now. Ezekiel, they want to pay him a little bit more. They're between 8 and 10. He's between 13 and 15. The tag's at 11 and 12. So you tag a guy like Ezekiel Elliott, I don't know what kind of production you get out of him then, man. People don't, players don't like being tagged. But we're moving on to the Crossfire segment, Lipp, and I'm looking at the in my producer's in my ear right now telling me OSU had a question. Are the Jets the runaway favorite in the AFC East? Lipp, go ahead and take this one.
Well, right now, I don't see anybody that wants to even try. Like I said, Patriots, they're going to win 2 or 3 games. I'm not hating. OSU are unisolated. Don't get on me this week. Not hating. The team around everything else other than the quarterback is solid. Tony Romo's just, you got Tony Romo, but he's not Tony Romo anymore. In the draft, you're going to kill it with a quarterback. I don't think you'll ever lose this division again moving forward. Miami Dolphins, Brock Osweiler is your quarterback.
Never moving forward? Jets will never lose this division moving forward?
No. Patriots go out. Now this is dependent upon what the Patriots do. They go out and draft another tight end or something in the first round. I'm back to, jumping on isolated. But you get a quarterback, they will never lose this division again. And that's a challenge to these other guys that are building their teams and the Jets that are really coming along. I think that the Patriots have a better roster. They just don't have a quarterback right now. So once they get that, they're going to dominate the AFC East.
Well, so we're just going to disrespect the back-to-back AFC East champion Buffalo Bills. We're going to say that
absolutely. Yeah.
So they're done because they lost Matt Ryan?
Well, no, they just refuse to go out and get a quarterback. They say, "Oh, we'll fart by with Matt Ryan. Oh, we'll fart by with Robert Griffin."
Hashtag fart by.
You're not actually committing to this position. I don't know what you're doing. So no, I will for sure disrespect them because I don't see their plan right now with these washed up, has-been quarterbacks.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask you in the chat. Is Lipp being disrespectful to the Buffalo Bills? I mean, this is a guy that's got a nice winning percentage in the MBL. He's 1-6, struggling right now. But to never win another division title in the AFC least, I don't know if I can go there. I think it's essentially a coin flip on that one. Guys, let me know what you think as far as if Lipp's disrespecting the Buffalo Bills or anybody in that division for that matter, saying the Jets are going to take this division moving forward. All right, our next topic is who wins the NFC South? What is this one, Gibbs? Are you gonna have to read? We're gonna have to go back to that one. I'm unclear on that one. Who will win the NFC East? Dallas is 6-2. The Giants are 4-2. Philly's 4-2. Washington is 5-2. This is asked by Cortez Logan, known as Heartless in the chat. He's currently the New York Giants, so he has invested interest in this question. This is one of the toughest divisions. I love how the Eagles are playing right now. The Giants, sure. I saw that early in the season. The Eagles are showing it in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Washington's been good at 5-2. The Cowboys are showing they're still a substantial team in the league. I think there's going to be 3 playoff teams out of this division. And who will win the NFC East? Man, this is tough, man. I'm going with the underdog. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles for only the reason that I believe this team is starting to find themselves. And I don't think that people truly in that division understand how to play this team because they haven't played their best brand of football in the MBL yet, and they're starting to now. So I think they have that upside. They had no tendencies on their opponent and their team, but they've kind of changed their offense up. And Carson Wentz, who will be a topic on the next podcast, Lipp, because he might be testing free agency as well, as they couldn't come to an agreement just 20 minutes before our show came out. We couldn't get it on formatted on the show. But big news out of Philly: Carson Wentz isn't going to be signing with that team. They might have to tag him, and that's $20 million, Lipp. So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles on my underdog favorite to win that division.
Yeah, I like those. I like what they've done. They're always very good on defense. I think that they just need to work out some things on offense, and they will be very good. They're starting to do it now, and I hope Carson Wentz returns because I want them to continue building that success. I know that I picked the Redskins to make to the Super Bowl. I think they will win the division. I don't think their schedule's too tough. I think they have a good roster. They have things going well for them right now, and the only thing is the Cowboys are 6-2. I don't expect them to go 14-2 or 12 wins or so. I do think they'll get around 10, 11, but the Cowboys schedule gets a little tougher going down the stretch. Yep. They have the Detroit Lions next week. They do play the Eagles in 3 weeks. They'll have to play the Vikings, the Giants, the Seahawks, the Jets, and the Redskins again. So it's going to be a little tough to win the division for them, but I think the Redskins will win this division. And I do like the Giants to sneak in as a wild card and make a run. You know what they've been doing there, running the ball and playing defense. I love what they've been doing. Ladarius Purnell has come out of nowhere and just been on fire all season. I do like the Giants, not just this season, but for many seasons to come.
All right, so you pretty much like every single team in that division, but you're going to pick the Washington Redskins to win that. So moving forward, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what we got. Will the Vikings turn things around this season, currently sitting at 2-5? Asked by Homer Hankey. Homer Hankey actually is the Vikings, another one with invested interest in this team. Vikings at 2-5, they will not turn their season around because their team is very young and they just really don't have a solid offensive strategy right now. They got some weapons, Stephon Diggs, Trey Hackett, obviously arguably the best young talent in the league, but they're 28th in rushing, 31st in points scored. They're only scoring 14 a game. You can't win with that. Your defense is giving up 20 points a game, which is 20th in the league. So bad defense. Not enough scoring on offense. This team won't turn it around at 2-4. Lipp, 2-5. Any thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings?
I completely agree with that. You can have, some down numbers in maybe a passing or a rushing, but when your points is 14, 31st in the league, there's just not a lot that you can do, even with a great defense. Their defense is okay, but letting up 20 points and only forcing 14 is not going to get anywhere. They will have a high pick if for this next draft, so they will be able to build in the future for sure.
Yeah, I question that too, man. I think they're going after. I think drafting the offensive line that they drafted in MBL season 20, the rookie draft, that was a really good draft.
Oh yeah, loved it.
I'm not seeing it pay dividends yet on the running game. As they say, offensive linemen take 3 to 4 years sometimes to develop them and really get that chemistry down. So yeah, so I'm not going to give up on them just yet. I think they're in a really tough division, and they're in a unique spot. When their defense gives up 20 and they're only scoring 14 points per game and they're in a division with the Bears, that Draco defense does not give up many points. So that 14 being an average might be, 8 to 10 versus them, 7 to 10 versus them. And then it just becomes, that's 2 losses a year that they're not going to be able to put up. Their offense is only putting up 14. They're going to pay the Detroit Lions 2 times a year. They're not going to score. They're going to have to score double that. So it really puts them in a situation where I see them being 5 to 6 losses every year that we start. And right now, I just don't see them having enough stars on the defensive side of the field to really make any kind of run. Okay, moving forward with some more stuff. Who will win the NFC South Division? Asked by Deca Dog. And Deca said, Bomber, what the hell are you doing? That's my best Deca Dog impression. That's what I was told to say right now, guys. Don't kill the messenger. NFC South, which is obviously going to be a Atlanta Falcons division, Bananas division. I don't know, Lipp, and
hey.
I like the Panthers, but I haven't completely sold into the Panthers yet with OSU. But I've watched some of the games live on their local televised stations, and I like what they're doing, man. 7 touchdowns from Cam Newton, 9 from Roman Rainey. Roman Rainey he's a touchdown machine. He's only averaging 3.9 yards per carry, which is about average, a little bit below. But, man, that guy has some explosive ability as far as power running. And you have Kelvin Benjamin and hopefully a healthy A.J. Green in the next couple weeks. But, man, I think this team could make a miracle run. Even though I'm not sold on them at 5-2, they win in a very convincing fashion if you've watched them. I don't see a lot of, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But this is a team who's maxed their salary cap out when they went and got A.J. Green. They have $40,000 available in free salary right now, guys. Think about that. This team put it all on the line, and they're doing exactly – I guess they're paying – it's paying dividends. 5-2 right now. No money on their salary cap. Everything's out there. Their owner is completely invested in this team, Lipp. I would say it's paying back. I mean, the offense is 6 in points, averaging 24 a game. Their defense has been creating some big splash play turnovers. Shout out to Sonny Weaver there. Their rushing defense is second in the league. So, I mean, they're stopping the run, and they're able to move the ball in the air. And I think this team, if they can cut back on the turnovers, passing and keep Cam Newton, managing the game still with the ability to make some big explosive plays and move down the field, I think this team could really get hot down the stretch if everybody stays healthy and they get A.J. Green back 100%.
All right. I'm about to be the villain here. I like what the Panthers do on offense for sure. They've really started making some great reads and really running the ball very well. I like it. I think they're 1 year out. Here's where I'm going to be the villain. I think the Falcons take this division back. And I'm going to stick with my prediction. Bananas, if you're listening, you better be listening. You're going 7-9. Just accept it. And that's my NFC South prediction.
Saints going 7-9. Lipp's been saying it since day one. Bananas said no way, but currently Bananas is sitting at, let's check his roster, 3-4.
Let me tell you the little history on that. 2 years ago, I said, Bananas, this guy's good. He's going to win the division this year because one and only's not expecting it. It happened. And now I'm saying 7-9, and you're going 7-9, Bananas.
And how'd you get to 7-9 though? You were so confident in them, and then you just jump off them. Why? Was it the off-season spending, the $20 million for Tyler Lockett, who only has 16 catches, 277 yards, and 1 touchdown, third on the team, at $20 million per year?
Yeah, just a lot of things, going that way. I got to 7-9 because I don't like saying 8-8 because I don't like being in the middle between a losing and a winning season. I'd like to see people be 9-7 or 7-9, but I just think he's going to get that point where it's going to be, he's so close to going 500, and he's just going to, fall apart in that last week and go 7-9. That's where he's going to be.
All right, and shout out to the guys in the chat. Porter did pick Josh in the eliminator, but he wouldn't mind seeing Deca get his first W. That's a win-win right there for Porter. Shout out to everybody in the chat. October, Deca, Dog. We got Josh in the chat. Bob, Kyle from the Titans was in the chat. A bunch of guys showed up, man. We really appreciate it, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Our MBL Network Media Director, Nick Mazesko, OSU, also was in the chat. Tim Hamilton, the owner of the Chiefs, was in the chat. Titans owner in the chat. Vikings owner in the chat. So we appreciate you guys showing up. This was episode 13. Hashtag just accept it. Hashtag just accept it. See if we can get that trending. As you know, the overall trending of all time, hashtag car overrated. And then we had hashtag TM3INT. And now hashtag just accept it. So we'll see if that's something that can pick up and gain some steam.
I liked hashtag fart by earlier. That was a good one.
Fart by came in. It came and gone, if you know what I mean.
Farted by.
It was a little silent at first, but still had a nice little deadly effect. So this is episode number 13. It was Friday, so it was our Friday the 13th episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We kept it light, brought a ton of content. But tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals, traveling to Arizona to play them. They're 0-7. They're looking for their first W. Should be an entertaining game. Cardinals are currently 4-2. But also, I'd like to point out, after the game, we're going to be doing a giveaway. OSU is going to announce it during the game. You're going to have to go onto Twitter, at MBL Network. That's right, not the Bomber League Twitter that we use for our league and all our league stuff. This is the Media Network Twitter. It's going to be a live Periscope drawing where we're going to be giving away some prizes. You have to get in that Periscope chat and talk with OSU, and he'll be doing the drawing, and you got an opportunity to win some free stuff. So pretty cool things going on in the MBL, and all those details will be coming out between now and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. About midday tomorrow, you'll get some more information on that. So for myself, Bomber, and my co-host, Lipp, and co-commissioner, and shout out to the guy behind the scenes, pulling the strings. We should hashtag that, Gibbs, doing all the big stuff over there and stuff you really don't even see, really doing a lot of work to make this show possible. So shout out to him as well. And shout out to the rest of the MBL Network. Thanks for showing up and showing your support. And we'll see you next time on the Commissioner Corner Podcast.